For this project, I started with a 10 by 11 inch frame that I had picked up at a garage sale. I took the glass out, I cleaned the frame up, and then I painted the frame with Wise Owl chalk paint, the color Antique Villa, and it did take 2 to 3 good coats to give full coverage. Then I cleaned up the glass, and after the paint was dry, I took ELMER'S glue and I put it on the back of the frame where the glass sits around the perimeter. And I went all the way around, and then I replaced the glass, and then I went around a second time. And I let this dry overnight. Sometimes it can take up to 24 hours to dry, depending on the amount of glue you put on. Now this glue serves two purposes. One, it holds the glass in place, and two, it prevents resin leaks. Once it has dried, then the resin can't seep through under the glass. So for this project, I'm going to be using clear glass to make roses. And the thicker the glass, the better. And you can find glass all over the place. The wine bottle somebody gave to me, the beer mug I bought for 99 cents at Goodwill, and the drinking glass I got for 50 cents at a thrift store around the corner. So you have to go around the rim is what you want to do, so that the pieces of glass are curved, and this is how you're going to make your flowers, with the curved glass. And if you used curved glass and it's flat on one side, it will stand up on its own. So continue to go around the rim in a circular motion until you've either used up all the glass or you have enough for your project. And in this case, I just went ahead and went all the way around it because I'm going to use part of it for this project and part of it for another project. So here I'm just showing you the difference in the thickness of glass. The thinner glass is the glass, the hurricane glass that I had broken up in my last project or last video. It's probably about the thickness of a regular wine glass. You need to wear safety glasses when nipping with this nipper tool, and as you can see, I have two different nipper tools there. The one with the green handle is one that's easier to use if you have any kind of arthritis or problems with your hands. You don't have to use quite as much force to use it. And the other one, which I'm used to using, for me it's easier to hold, is a much cheaper version of the one with the blue handles. So I brought in a clip from my last video just to show you how the glass needs to be shaped to be able to make the flower to be able to stand up. So this pink glass I used in my last video, and when you cut the glass or nip around the trim, the perimeter of the glass, you end up with one end kind of flat and the other end sometimes pointy. So they both will stand up. It doesn't matter which side you put it on, it stands up. But sometimes we like it to lay down just a little bit. Not totally flat, but kind of at an angle. More like a rose petal would be, like that. And you can see both sides of those are nipped on the ends. So what you need to do then, so this other one only has one end nipped. And so what you need to do is take your piece of glass, and you need to just go ahead and nip the one end so that it's similar to the other, and then you're going to have to go back and nip the other end to make it equivalent or similar to the other side, because that one side is just too long. And then you'll see it lays down, not totally flat, but kind of with the curve, it kind of is three-dimensional. So see, the two of them are the same, and when you lay them down, it still stays up a little bit at a curve. But if you want, you can still stand it up, just like that, if you turn it the other way. So there you go, just like that. So next I'm just trying to level out this frame. Normally after I pour the resin, I either pour it in the back room on a table that I know is level, or I pour the resin in here and then I carry it into the back room where I know the table is level. But this particular time I decided I'm going to leave it in this room to cure. So I need to have, this table that I have here is not level, so I need to make sure everything's level. So now I just start laying out the glass piece by piece. I'm making 3 roses, and you can see the pieces that I'm putting down are not standing straight up, but they're a little bit at an angle, and I think as I go in toward the center they're standing up more and more. So it's up to you how you want them to look. And I believe this took, I think I had this up to 18 minutes, and I have it fast forward in 1.5 minutes. I'm showing you what I did in 20 minutes. And a lot of times when you get to the center, you can put, if the glass is thick enough, you can really cut little tiny pieces to make small pieces in the very center of the flower. And if the glass is thick enough, it will stand up on its own. But sometimes you need like a little tweezers or something to get in there, because my fingers are too big. When I try to put the little piece in or drop it in, I end up knocking down the other petals. So if you have like a tweezer or something small to be able to put the small pieces in the center, you're better off, then you don't end up knocking everything else down. And next I'm mixing up the resin. I'm using Clearcast 7000 resin. I use gloves and I wear a respirator when I work with resin. This is a 1-to-1 ratio resin, 1 part resin to 1 part hardener in equal amounts. When you first pour it into the cup, it looks clear. Once you start mixing it, it becomes cloudy. You're supposed to mix it for about 3 minutes. The slower you mix it, the less bubbles you'll get. You need to scrape the sides and the bottom as you're mixing to assure thorough mixing. And after about 3 minutes, it will become clear again, and it's ready to pour on your project. This mica powder that I had purchased, the color Pink Flamingo, I mixed it in with the resin that I had just mixed up. This mica powder I got, there was 24 to the pack on Amazon, real vibrant colors. And then I used a couple of different things. I used a dropper to kind of drop it over it. And I used the little stir stick and a spoon and tried to keep it inside of the rose, like around the edges and the inside, not to go over on the other side, because I didn't want the red to drip out of the perimeters of the rose. And then what I did after I was done with that was I let it dry overnight. And then the next morning I mixed up some more resin and put these tumbled glass leaves on it and poured the resin all around it. I didn't want to put the resin on it before because I was afraid that red would run into the other resin or go outside of the perimeters and just make a mess. So I did it this way in 2 steps. And then of course I used the kitchen torch for the bubbles, and then I let it sit overnight again. So your resin art has to sit at temperatures between 72 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. I guess it takes several days to cure, but usually by the next morning you can touch it and it won't be sticky anymore. It needs to sit on a level surface while curing, and it should be covered with a dust cover. I've learned the hard way that you need to use a dust cover. Hey everyone. So I think it turned out real cute. When the video ended, this was lighter. So I actually went back the next day. I wasn't happy with the color, not the actual color, but how dark it was. So I went back and I mixed up the same color again, but this time I let the resin sit for about a half an hour with the color in it so it would be thick, because I didn't want anything to run anywhere. So I think that might be a good idea, and it really stuck to the top of the flowers and that better. And so I made it a little bit darker. So anyway, I like it darker. I don't know about you guys. I think it turned out cute. If that's all you have is clear glass and you have some mica powder or alcohol ink, you can always color the resin. And I don't know how you guys color your clear glass, but I'm going to be doing a video on how to color glass that isn't that's clear, and glass that doesn't have the color all the way through it. Glass that's painted on each side and how the top of it looks like it's clear, or it is clear. So that's going to be my next video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I've been looking at a lot of stuff on Pinterest and Etsy, and some of the flowers that I saw, the glass art with the resin, it looked like resin was on top of it, like colored resin. So I wanted to try it and see if I could do it and what it would turn out like. And I did. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to be notified of future videos, subscribe, and have a great day.